Welcome to another wonderful session of Short and Sweet. Today we're going to talk about Cornell note-taking systems, which you're going to be required to use in my classroom. In about 5 steps, we should hopefully be able to go through this. First step, as you can see, is divide the paper into 4 sections. Step 2, put the header items in their header. There's little thinking involved, 1 point per item. 3, put the body items in the body, a bit more thought, so there's 3 points for that. Decide what a Q column is, and you'll see that in a minute. So there's a little bit more thought, so there's 5 more points. Look at the body and Q items and summarize the lesson or add translation and and that gets you 10 more points. That gives you 30 marks possible for each set of notes, or X marks divided by the 30 possible times 100% times the number of points. Tells you how many points are going into the grade book. Since most notes are like 1 to 3 points, this just lets you know how the grades are going to work out. Step 1, you're going to divide it into 4 sections. Okay, how hard is that? Well, you go to the top, you find about 3 fingers from the top. You may find that you don't need to have as much as that if your handwriting is small enough when you figure out what goes in the header. And you just simply draw a line across. Do the same thing on the bottom. Yeah, it looks like a nice spot. You will adjust this as you do this more and more often, as you may find out I need more space or less space. And then you need to make about 3 fingers from the left side. There. Now the top section, this is your header. This is your body. In the body goes the normal sort of stuff that you see when you're doing notes all these years that you've been doing them already, and any concept matter. Header, name, as far as that goes, the period, the block, page 1 of 2 or 2 of 2 or 3 of 2, whatever it is, the date, the subject, and the topic. This column here is called the Q column. This is where you put stuff from watching videos or reading, and you put in the questions to ask. Or if somebody asks a question in class, or there's something really good in the body that you think is going to show up later, such as, hey, there's a test next Tuesday, you put that in the Q. At the end of the class, you put in your summary and translations. If you have to look up a word or translate it from one language to another, that needs to go in there. So that's where that has to go. Outside of that, it all becomes fairly simple. To make this a little easier to see, I printed up a computerized version of this, so you should be able to see it all. And up here at the name, that's 1 point, page 1 of 2 or 1 of 6, 1.1 point, date is a point, topic's a point, subject a point, period or block's a point. If you don't have a name, you get 0 points because I don't know who to give it to. The body, that's worth 3 marks based on if you get all the information, some of the information, or no information. And if you put something completely inappropriate, you can go backwards. Q column, that's worth 5 points. So if you put in all the good questions, you got 4 or 5 marks. If you just copied other people, you might get 2 or 3. And if you put in inappropriate, we can go backwards. At the very end is a summary and translations. That's where you put the good stuff from the body, the good stuff from the Q, because this is the part you're going to study for test. This is worth 10 points. 1/3 of the points are for this part right here, because the more thought, the more points. The magic of the Cornell note-taking system, and the reason I have you do it is, 1, I can see if you're actually paying attention. 2, as you have to decide what goes in the body, what goes in the Q, what goes in the summary, that process in your brain causes you to learn all this stuff, and that's where this all has to go anyway, because if it's not in your brain, it doesn't do you a whole lot of good. The danger to the Cornell note-taking system is it works so well people think they don't need to use it because they already know it, until you stop using it and suddenly discover you failed the test. The process of doing it is what allows you to learn a lot better.